Welcome back to Woodshop 101. This episode is episode 143 for November 26th, 2018. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving because now it's after Thanksgiving, so I hope your bellies are well fed. On today's show, we are going to be talking about wood filler. I am Sam from SamRyan Designs, and I am joined today by my co-host Jeremy Crawford of the Countryside Workshop and our guest host Drew Oxford from Ox in the Shop. And unfortunately, our Drew cannot join us tonight, but we wish him the best and we miss him. We hope he's okay. He's okay, but we miss him. So this is our fast, loose, and quick episode, so I want to just jump in and thank our patrons, John Ramminger, Sean McHenry, Carl Mose, Neil Sims, Eric Rhoten, and Jeb Braswell. Thank you guys so much. If you would like to support the show, you can head over to woodshop101podcast.com/support, where there will be links for small one-time donations and reoccurring donations. If you want to become a patron to our Patreon campaign, then head over to patreon.com/woodshop101. All of our patrons receive an after show twice a month as a benefit. You can also support the show by buying a Woodshop 101 podcast t-shirt, hoodie, or Rev Marker pack. We also have women's tank tops and kids shirts as well. You can buy them over at countrysideworkshop.com/shop for the link. Also, our after show with Drew is quite awesome. We talk about some mistakes in the shop, maybe like things getting cut off and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're not going to give you any more
trying
information.
trying to haggle somebody for a table saw.
Yeah. So if you want to become a patron, you can get access to all of those awesome after shows.
Yeah, especially the last one we had as well with Donnie. I think that one ended up being like an hour long.
Yeah.
And he went on like a tangent of just like full out information about pricing and everything else. So.
And he is great. So that is one that he had a lot of knowledge in there. So we're just going to go straight into our question. And our question is, how do you stain after wood filling so the stain doesn't show up lighter in the areas where you wood filled? Also, what type of wood filler would you suggest, water-based or other types?
Yeah, and I think this email came in from Kurt Russell, so I was trying to look it up because I totally forgot to put it in there. I guess you go, Sam. I know you used a product, and I actually emailed him back and kind of filled in what I had, but I could not remember the product that you used.
So what we do is we use the Durham's Rock Hard. The way that works is a powder, and then you mix water into it to create a certain consistency. You don't want it too watery, and you don't want it too hard. Goopy. I don't know if you guys have ever used that, but you there's
kind of
a
want
certain
it like a peanut butter consistency.
Yes, I was just gonna say you kind of want it smooth consistency. But if you were to fill it and then stain, it will appear lighter. But what we do is, because you have to mix it with water, we have some water-based stains and dyes that we use. And depending on what my client is doing for the stain, let's say it's an oil-based stain, well, I can't mix that stain with the stuff because it won't mix properly. So I'll find a water-based stain that looks similar, or even darker if I'm doing a lighter stain, to make it appear like a knot if I can't match it somewhat perfectly. So we mix it with water-based stains if that is the way that I need to go. And that is only if like a knot chips out or something, like there's a big dent. Normally, I haven't really come across where, I have to fill a ton of little holes and then stain a cabinet. Normally I'm painting. So if you can mix it with something, I suggest mixing it and try it and test it, like the colors next to each other, and then, try and find the best color.
Yeah. You can also mix it with like a water-based dye stain as well. like General Finishes.
Yeah, that's what I said. The water-based dyes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Drew, do you have any experience
Input on this?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, what I would say would probably definitely go to what Sam said, and not what I would say after that. But because I don't really use wood filler and stuff, and most of the stuff I do is turning. I do some table, but for the most part, like while she was talking, I'm trying to think, when's the last time I used wood filler?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely very, very few and far between for me as well. But because
I don't think I would help with the question.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I get the question because when I first started out, I definitely used more wood filler, and I went to Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, and just grabbed like whatever was on the shelf as far as like a min wax, like a golden oak or whatever. Like it never really put like thought behind it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, most of the time they don't stain. They don't accept stain. But I use two different products, and they're really for two distinct different reasons. The first one I use is Timbermate wood filler. And my biggest suggestion is that if you're not going to go the way of Sam's and actually apply or mix the stain with the wood filler with a stain, go to Timbermate and get a they sell each one of their product lines will tell you like this is good for walnut and some of your darker woods. They have one that says it's good for your blonder woods, birch, pine, etc. They have a different line, and all their different lines will have a different color. So get the color closest you can to the wood you're filling, and they do the pre-staining, let's say, of the wood filler for you, so you don't have to mix it. And it already comes in a paste. It is a water-based product, so if it starts drying, you mix a little water with it and stir it up, and it'll reactivate the product. And it comes in I don't know, just a little bitty jar, about 2 or 3 inches tall, maybe 2 inches around. And it's I don't know if I remember right, maybe $10 or so for that, but it goes a long way. And they do claim that it's stainable, but again, get the one that's closest to your wood species, just so it'll hide a little bit better. So that's for staining purposes, that's the product I'm going to recommend, or even for non-staining purposes. If you're not going to stain over it, at least get something that's close to that color. The other product I use is more along the lines for maybe for painting. If maybe you got to fix a dent or a gap or something, or even fill in like screw holes or nail holes. I use DAP Plastiwood, and I use I don't even remember what it's called, but it's purple. It's their color variation one. So it as it's moist, as it's wet, it's purple, and when it dries white. So you know when it's fully dry. And I use that because it gets super hard, and I know when it's dry, and it takes a paint very well. So that's, again, for a small tub of that's about $8. And that's from DAP. So those are the two like products I recommend. Again, both the products I recommend are water based. It sounds like the one that Sam uses is water based as well. I don't know if they make anything. I've never seen an oil base or anything like that. But I would definitely recommend water based for the pure fact of they dry quick.
Yes. And I will say, I'm going to add something else to what we do. So we use the Durham's Rock Hard for bigger holes that we need to fill. But let's say maybe I'm using like my little pin nailer, and I have tiny little nail, those tiny little holes that when you stain, you really don't see. So Minwax makes these crayons. You can get them like at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever, but they literally feel like crayons, and all you do is rub them over the little holes, and then we use those sponges that you can get at the dollar store. They're like rough. It kind of looks like chicken wire, kind of. Anyways, we use that sponge, and then we rub where we put it in case it got on the wood, and we rub it off with that sponge, and it's covered. You would never even know that it's there. Yeah. So those crayons come in different colors, like Jeremy said. If you're going with blonder woods, get this. If you go with this, get this. So if you are using Minwax stain, there's one that's like for dark walnut and Kona, and there's one for, golden oak and American walnut or something like that, So they have different numbers, and they are really great, and they last a really long time because they're long. And they're only like $6. So.
And another, if you're filling like a pin nail holder, the 23 gauge, like you said, they're super small. You can even just squirt that down with water. Let the fibers right there around it soak up some of that water, and then go back with an iron and dry it pretty quickly. And it will, most of the time, it won't do it all the time, but every time I've done it, it has worked pretty well. It'll pull the wood fibers back together over that hole, so you don't necessarily have to use filler then. But that's it. Usually that only works on your really small holes, and then maybe some of your dents. Maybe you dented a piece of wood, and you want it flat again. So instead of putting a little filler there, squirt it with some water, and then put like a towel over top of it and use the iron. And all that's going to do is the water is going to expand those wood fibers, and the heat is going to accelerate it and help it pop back out and kind of fill it up. So
I've seen people do that for dents. So what you're saying is you could do that for like the little nail holes because it will expand enough.
Yeah, so I've used it on 23 gauge pen nails before, and it's worked.
That's really cool.
So
that's pretty.
And especially if you have like a little shop iron, like a little.
Like my baby pink one.
Yeah, so I got one like that too.
Is it pink?
No, I think mine's white.
Oh,
white and orange, I think, pink. Or white and gray. But you pick them up. You can go pick them up for like, I don't know, $10 or something in the travel section. So like, where all your luggage and stuff, because it's a travel iron, and that's really where I got mine, is when I was traveling overseas all the time. I would take that, but now it's a dedicated shop iron, good for like edge banding, things like that.
Yeah, and I will say that ours is really tiny, and mine is on Amazon for like $12. It's only like 3 inches tall.
Yeah, I think
maybe
that's
like 2 inches wide.
I think that's about like mine. So
they're so cute, and I'm actually not really a pink type of girl. I like blue, but that's what they had. So they come in different colors. They're pretty cute. So definitely go check them out.
All right. Well, we hope that answered your question. If it didn't, shoot us another email, but I'm going to guess that it did, because I sent you an email like a week ago and I haven't heard back from you. So, all right.
All right. Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's my show. Sorry, I have to keep transitioning. Sorry, Jeremy. Sorry. Normally you transition at the end.
Yes. And Drew's
I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing my job. I need to jump on track. Okay, Jeremy, here we go. I'm so sorry. Well, we would like to thank you again, Drew, for being on the show with us. It was a lot of fun. And we hope to have you back soon. And we want to remind all of our listeners, if you listen to the show on iTunes, to please give us a 5-star rating. It helps us reach a greater audience. So, did you have a good time, Drew?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Did we keep you entertained?
Very much.
You kept us entertained, and we learned a lot of great information from you about craft shows and your poor friend cutting his. You guys don't get to know because it's in the after show.
Clickbait. Seems clickbait.
It is. It is clickbait. So, thank you for being on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It. All right, so you want to give us your contact information one more time, just in case anybody wants to get a hold of you?
Oxintheshop.com, Oxintheshop on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which I very rarely use, and YouTube.
So awesome. Definitely go check him out. He's got some awesome videos out. Made a super awesome big wheel. I'm highly jealous of that. And if you want to get in contact with Drew, you can go over RH Woodshop on Instagram. He's pretty active over there. SamRyan _designs for Sam over on Instagram, where she's probably the most active, and myself, Countryside Workshop. If you want to get a hold of the podcast, you can do so at Instagram, Woodshop 101 Podcast, which I'm going to try this next week to get back on track, posting over there again. You can email us, kickback@woodshop101podcast.com. Go to our website, woodshop101podcast.com. You can leave us a contact form over there, or give us a call, leave us a voicemail, 409-234-3959. So again, Drew, thanks for coming on. And from Sam, Drew, and myself, we want to wish you well and be safe in your shop. 1, 2, 3.
Boom!
Boom!